Welcome all you Capital Crusaders basketball fans. On this week's podcast, we are taking time to sit down with the head coach of the men's basketball team, Damon Goodwin, and later in this episode we will take a peek at the life of senior Adam Blake. But stick with us here with Coach Goodwin. Coach, happy holidays to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. And so for the first part of this, we kind of want to take a little bit of a trip back in time. The last time we spoke with you, we were heading into the Mount Union contest, which ended up in an 81-67 loss. But following that game, you've had plenty of time to correct some things, shore up some skills, and so we kind of want to know what you've been up to over the last week or so.
Well, we had a good week break. After that game, we had some time to get away. We asked our guys to go home, lift, and work out with our high school teams and stay sharp from a basketball standpoint, but we also asked them to get off their feet a little bit and do the right things and rest and recover and get ready to play the second half of the season. And I think our guys did that. After we came back after Christmas, we run a youth tournament, and our guys get a referee and keep score. It's a great community event. We have 70-some teams here, which is about 600-700 kids coming into Capitol Center and playing 4th, 5th, and 6th grade basketball. And we're practicing for our games. So, we're just trying to get better every day, and those are the things we're doing.
It sounds like that, even though that there's some work involved in that it's also some lighthearted work. And,
sure.
So it kind of keeps them light.
Yeah, it is. It's a different type of atmosphere for our guys to be around when they're refereeing and mom and dad or coaches are yelling at them. And they get to see the other side of it, and they help run things. And it's a fun event. And like I said, it's a great event. There's Bexley teams here. There's a lot of suburban teams from around Columbus here. Every now and then we get a Dayton team or a Cleveland team. It's always nice to have different people coming.
Now, Coach, you're now at the midway point of the season, and your team has shown some growth. You've had some time to assess. What is your assessment of the first half for this team?
Well, we've had two problems this year. One is we don't shoot the ball very well. We have to become a better shooting team. Part of that is taking better shots. Part of that is understanding when we should be shooting the ball, and that's different for each person and where they're shooting it from. I think that is probably one of the biggest things that we have to get better at. The other is we have to take care of the ball better. We're turning the ball over way too many times to expect to be in tight ball games. So those are the two things as we're coming back and preparing for the last half of the season that we're focused on.
All right, now you're going to get a chance to test that out. Your last non-conference game is versus a Division I opponent in the University of Miami down in Oxford. Now, not very common that Division I travels down to Division III and plays them, but what's the advantage of playing a team like that?
Well, I think when you're a Division III school or a Division III player, that's always it's a unique and neat challenge for our guys. I know our guys are very excited about it. They're obviously, being a Division I team, they're going to be bigger, they're going to be longer, they're going to be more athletic, they're going to be quicker. Not many D3s, end up beating the D1, although it did happen last year in our league. Wilmington beat Miami last year. They had Wilmington, a very good team. That's probably more fuel to the fire for Miami than it is for Capital at this point. But it's just a different atmosphere. It's a different game, and I think our guys like that challenge. Chances are that you don't win the game, but that's okay. You hopefully you get better from it, you learn from it. I'm a firm believer that the better competition you play, the better off your team is going to be, and that's all part of this.
And we understand that once people have the chance to see this podcast, that the game will already been over. But when you look at it ahead, what is it that you are hoping that the guys take away from this kind of a match, win, lose, or, well, no draws, but
right.
Hey, what are they going to get away from?
Well, again, I think it's this competition standpoint that if we can go and compete with a Division I program and do the right things and get better, specifically those two things we just talked about, shooting the ball and taking care of the ball better, then we ought to be able to do that against our conference and Division III opponents. And like I said, it's going to be a unique experience for our guys. We haven't played D1 team in about 4 or 5 years. We used to play them almost every year, and I think they'll enjoy it. I'm hoping that we go out and compete and play a very good game, and we'll see where the chips fall on that. But at the very least, we're going to have a different experience for our guys to build the second half of the season.
Well, when you jump back into D3 play, it'll be after the break. Everybody will be back on campus, and you'll be taking on rival Otterbein on January 7th. Now, considering that the two teams involved in that matchup and the break, what kind of a game are we looking at here?
That's almost a week away. It's going to be a typical rivalry game. I'm sure they're going to be fired up. Hopefully, we're fired up as well. And we're both struggling a little bit. I think it's going to be a big game for the team that wins. Hopefully, it'll be a springboard to bigger and better things, and hopefully that team's us. So, once we get back from the Miami trip, we'll start concentrating on Otterbein and try again to get better at those two things specifically and continue to improve defensively and become a better basketball team than we have been. We need to grow as a team, and that's our challenge, and that's what we're trying to do throughout these games and throughout the break.
Oh, yeah. That's also an unofficial shout out to the Cap Crazies. Come on down there on January 7th. Community members, everybody. It's going to be a great one.
Right. It should be fun.
All right. Well, now, Coach, we kind of go off the beaten path here. We always ask you a couple off-the-cuff questions to end the podcast. This week, no different. And considering that it is New Year's right around the corner, we want to see what in your past has been the most gratifying New Year's resolution that you've ever accomplished.
I think we're all the same. We all try to be better people or better parents or better brothers and sisters and coaches and players. And it's no different for me as a basketball coach and probably as the other basketball coaches in the country. We're trying to do things better. We're trying to be better people and improve, and that's the way we're going to view it again this year. And I'm not one to really sit down at the end of the year and contemplate those type of things. I think it more than anything else for me, it is a chance to refocus maybe a little bit as a person and refocus a little bit as a basketball coach and hopefully do better in 2015.
Well, 2015 allows you the opportunity to kind of hit the unofficial reset button. So if there's going to be one thing that you're going to be focusing on this year, what is it going to be?
Well, from a basketball standpoint, I think it is to help our team become more cohesive and become a better offensive threat as a basketball team. We have to. We must, if we expect to compete in games, become a better offensive team. We simply can't. Defensively, I think we've done a decent job. Statistically, you look at our numbers, they're not bad. Offensively, we just have to do a better job and give ourselves a chance.
All right, well, this has been head coach Damon Goodwin of the men's basketball team joining us for the first half of this Capital Basketball podcast. Next, we're going to be having a couple moments with our senior Adam Blake as we explore his life as well as his basketball IQ. But, Coach, in the meantime, thanks for joining us this week, and also enjoy the rest of the holiday season as well as what's left of our break. All right, this is Ryan Gasser for head coach Damon Goodwin. Thanks for joining us on this week's basketball podcast. Welcome back to part 2 of this week's basketball podcast here at Capital University. We're highlighting the men's side and also highlighting senior Adam Blake of the men's basketball team, standing at 6 foot, 170 pounds, a senior out of Kingston, Ohio. And so, Adam, before we talk basketball, let's talk about Kingston. It's your hometown. It's where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about your hometown and how it kind of formed you as a person.
Well, Kingston's a real small town, so, come real small, not many people. I actually went to Logan Elm High School, which is about 15 minutes from Kingston. So where you grew up, it's a lot of country, very rural area, but it's a good area. It's a lot of good people. We got a close family from back home, so that's home. It's small, but it is home.
That's a little bit south in Ross County, and so you got to enlighten us. What's there to do in Kingston, or do you got to travel a little bit to have some fun?
You got to travel a little bit. We're between Circleville and Chillicothe. The little town sits right between. So I had 2 older brothers. We kind of grew up in Chillicothe, honestly. We played all of our Little League sports in Chillicothe. Dad's from there, so we reside in Kingston, but we're kind of from Chillicothe is what we say.
Very good. Well, they got some good, at least they used to have some good baseball with the Chillicothe Paints down there.
Oh, yeah, still do.
All right.
Paints are still around. It's changed a little bit. Yeah. We were young, we grew up going, but it's more of a pro prospect league now than it is the Frontier League.
Well, it sounds like you got to get a little creative to create your own entertainment down there.
You do. It's out there a little bit, but
well, now you go from Kingston, which is a really small town that we've mentioned, and you come to the Columbus area.
Yeah,
quite a drastic change. How's that been for you?
It is. It's a good transition. It's we're only about an hour from Columbus, so a lot of our shopping sometimes the fun things we had to do, you come to Columbus for. And grew up a big Buckeye fan, so always up here for games and sporting events. And between basketball and football and baseball, we traveled a lot. So the transition, it wasn't too bad, honestly. We, kind of just took it in stride, and I enjoy it a lot. I like it here a lot. So
you obviously knew about Columbus, but did you necessarily know about Capital when you started looking at colleges?
I did. I actually, my oldest brother, graduated from here in 2010. So he played football here, and he was here from 2007 to 2010. So I had a little background on Capital. I knew what the people were like a little bit, the education that I was going to receive, and even a little bit about the basketball program because he was recruited a little bit from Coach Goodwin. So I had some familiarity with the area and with Capital, actually.
So you knew about it, you had done your research. I'm sure Capital wasn't your only option, but in the end, what was it that made you sign on the dotted line with Capital?
Well, the program was what brought me here. Coach Goodwin, he's been here for a long time. A lot of success, OAC championships. I was coming from a good high school program, so I was looking to, jump right into something that was very similar. And fortunately, we've been able to do that here a little bit. We've struggled here a little bit recently, but my first 2 years we were able to win a championship, and that's kind of what set me over the top to come to Capital and play.
Well, I know that you're an athletic guy, so if it couldn't be basketball and you had to choose a sport that you wanted to play beyond high school, what would it have been?
I probably would have chose football. I was very fortunate to play for a very good coach, all three sports in high school, but football and basketball, I was very close with both of those coaches and still am. And we had a lot of success in football as well. So I think I probably would have chose to play football if I could have furthered my career other than in basketball.
And that third sport that you played in high school?
I played baseball also. I only played senior year, but I did play, and we won a district championship then too. So got to enjoy a lot of success with a lot of good kids and a lot of good coaches. So.
Okay. Well, now you mentioned those three sports, but how about if there was a sport that you've never played in your entire life and you would like to at least try once? What would that be?
I consider it a sport. I would say you do as well. NASCAR. I think being in a car, a lot of different things that could go wrong or little things. It's not a much margin for error. So I think doing that and moving fast it'd be something neat to try. I think there's a lot out there. There's a lot of sports that would be fun to play, but I think driving a NASCAR would be pretty fun.
They got those simulation courses that you got to pay big money to go in.
Yeah. I could try that out and see what it's like.
That might be a test for you. All right, well, this is Senior Adam Blake. We're about midway through the second part of our men's basketball podcast this week. And so, Adam, we know that you are an education major and you have aspirations to also be a coach. So we're going to ask you to put your coaching goggles on right now.
Yeah.
And we want to first take a look at yourself. When you look at the tape and you look at your play, what do you see out of yourself? What do you bring to the table?
Well, I think, leadership is a big thing that I do pretty well. I like to communicate. I like to know what everybody else is doing and what's going on, on the court at all times and off the court. But I think I bring leadership to the team that it's a big part of our team. On the court, I can get our guys in the right positions and understand what they're supposed to be doing and the time that they're supposed to be doing it. So I think that's a big thing that I bring to the table that helps the team a little bit.
And then when you're getting a breather on the bench and you get to look out onto the floor and see your team play, analyze them. What do you think that this year's team has been like, and what are they on the floor when you see them?
Well, I think, we have a little bit of everything. We've got, some guys back that played a lot of minutes last year. We've seen a lot of growth in the younger guys. We've been a little inconsistent, which has been something that we're working on and we're trying to get around. But we're a big team. We got a couple big seniors that we like to pound the ball into, play pretty hard. We're a pretty physical team. If we can just, be a little bit consistent and knock down some shots and consistently do things what Coach, wants us to do, could be a little bit better. But we've got a big group. That's a big thing. So.
Now, we mentioned that you are an education major. You're about ready to finish up here.
I am. I'm almost done.
And so tell us what chose you to be an educator. What about that path was attractive to you?
Well, I wanted to coach. I wanted to be, I want to be a coach. And, nowadays it seems like coaching and teaching are kind of a similar thing. But I really like working with kids. And that's really what, kind of drove me to be. I had a good high school coach that I have a really good relationship with. He always had a good relationship with our guys, and I always saw that, and I thought, I think that's something that I could do and I could be very good at. and it's nice to see kids, to teach them something and see them succeed. So that's an area that, you know, just like basketball or any sport, education is the same way. And you know, you're in the classroom teaching your kids, and to see them succeed and do things right and do it the right way, you know, that's something that really drove me to pick the education field.
Now, as far as teaching goes, do you have an age group that you're targeting or a field?
Yeah, I'm in middle school. I'm in math and history. So I would like to be a graduate assistant maybe, and try and coach here at the college level a little bit before I may step back and teach. But if not, that's my area of study.
All right. Well, Adam, we always ask at the end of each podcast, and we'll get to Coach Goodwin too, but
Okay.
you know, we ask kind of an off-the-cuff question. And this year, being we're in the holiday season and all, we are looking at New Year's resolutions. And so part one of this is, what has been the most gratifying New Year's resolution that you have accomplished over the course of your lifetime?
I would say the biggest New Year's resolution has to do with athletics. Was in high school. We were hoping to get to state my junior or senior year, and we actually achieved that. My junior year, we were able to make it to state. That was kind of a goal. It was kind of a resolution / goal for the team and for everybody, personally myself a little bit as well. So that was probably my biggest resolution that I've achieved so far. You know, we're an athlete, so working out and those normal resolutions are something that kind of come consistently with what we do. So.
And now looking as you head into 2015, have you taken the time to set a resolution for yourself?
A little bit. Personally, you know, moving on, I'll be graduating and finishing up the year and my time here at Capitol, trying to, you know, find a job or a GA spot that, excuse me, would be a great resolution to achieve, and moving forward would be good in 2015 for me.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck in achieving that goal, accomplishing that resolution,
Thank you.
We hope that we'll be seeing you a little bit more on the basketball court and bringing home some W's.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for having us and then taking the time with us, especially over the holiday break.
I appreciate it.
This is senior Adam Blake of the men's basketball team as we conclude the second part of this week's men's basketball podcast. For Adam Blake, I'm Ryan Gasser. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.